Hello friends, I'm Kathy. Thanks for joining me. This past week I took a step toward a bucket list item, and I'm very excited to share it with you. I have a goal, a bucket list item, a dream, whatever you'd want to call it, of someday speaking in front of 10,000 people. Now, how many of you guys have that goal? You know, God gives us all our goals and our dreams differently. And there's things you guys do that I have no desire to do. And I know that speaking in front of 10,000 people probably isn't your goal or many of your goal, but it is my goal. And I took a step toward that goal this past week. In the past, I've talked to about 1,000 people, and this past week I increased it to about 3,000 people. And so I want to share with you my learning lessons and the excitement and the fun that I had. You know, first of all, when I think of bucket list items, another bucket list item I have is to travel to a lot of different areas of the world. And when you think about it, you're not going to do it all in one shot. And you're not going to do it all in one length of time. It's just like we nibble at it, a little bit here, a little bit there, and we just keep getting to our ultimate goal. And that's the way it is with this goal of mine to speak in front of 10,000 people. I speak in front of 5 people, and then 25, and then 100, and then 1,000, and now 3,000. And I understand why this is so necessary. I mean, to be put in front of 10,000 people, going from 0 to 10,000, there's a lot going on that, I don't know if my body and my brain could take all of that. So anyway, there's my thoughts. Okay, but let's go back. Let's go back about 5 weeks ago. 5 weeks ago, I was teaching a presentation class to the Leadership Academy. And during the class, we give presentations, we learn some little tips and tricks on how to create a great presentation, and then we give another presentation. So there's like a before and an after. Well, part of the learning is what I call the upside down triangle. By following the upside down triangle, you will create a perfect presentation. At the very top, at the flat line of that upside down triangle, you need to write your presentation. You need to totally write out your presentation. And this is the process of creating great content and getting your thoughts together. Okay? It's not saying, hey, we are going to necessarily read the presentation. That's not what it's saying, but this is the process of putting your thoughts together in the right order. A great presentation really isn't about presenting. It's about writing. And that's what I love. I love learning things and being able to massage it in a way that makes sense to others that may not dive as deep into it as I do. I love helping people grow. I love helping people think differently about things. So that's why I like to present, because I like to write in a way that helps you see it differently and helps you use it right away. Okay, so the first thing you do is you write out the whole presentation, and then you read it out loud 7 times. Just read it out loud 7 times. And as you're reading, you've got your pen in hand and you're making marks and rewording things and repositioning or reprioritizing content. I mean, that just is normal, right? So once you massage all that, then you're going to start to slim down the amount of notes you have in front of you. So the next piece is you're gonna create bullet points. Here's my written 4-page presentation that I did this past week. Here's the bullet points, which is huge. It's a huge list. But now that I have the bullet points, now I'm going to recite my presentation 7 times again, just using the bullet points. And again, I've got my pen and I'm marking things that I might have forgotten, or words that I've forgotten, or transitions I forgot, or what's my first line and my last line. And okay, practice. Say it out loud 7 times. Then we're going to slim it down even more. We're going to slim it down to just a note card. And this isn't math class where you try to get as much as you can on the front and back. This is just the key elements so that you don't forget where you are, you don't forget your goal of the presentation. And again, you're going to practice it 7 times. And then you're going to have nothing in front of you. No teleprompter, no note cards, no nothing. And just recite it 7 times. Now for a 2 to 3 minute presentation, that works. And that's enough. And during the leadership class that I was teaching, I was asked, do you do this? Yeah, I do. And this past week, or I guess since that class, Yeah, I do. However, here's some changes. 7 times 7, 28 times is not enough for a 20-minute presentation. The amount of time that I put into this practice, 7 times 4 is definitely not enough. Here's my little Post-it note where I just kept tallying how many times, and I wasn't really good at accurate number of tallies, but right here as I look, I've got 65 at least, and I mean, this doesn't count how I was literally dreaming about my script. But, you know, professional athletes still go to practice every day, right? I'm a professional. I absolutely follow what I'm teaching. But I learned so much more about how much more depth needs to happen when we're presenting. And I know not everybody in the world is truly wanting to present professionally, but we all do communicate. And there are big meetings that we have or big conversations that we have that we want to get right. So the 7 times 4, 28 times, writing it all out, going down to note cards, to nothing, all of that works in those communications that we have. Mine that I did this past week was a little different. It was 20 minutes long. That was different. It was an audition. I auditioned for it. I was one of 4 people that were selected. So it was fully written out in its entirety, and it was rewritten, and then it was video recorded and sent to a speaker coach who kind of redirected me in certain areas. So that was 2-3 weeks itself. And then it was like this drill and kill. Okay, my presentation's been approved. The words that I'm saying are approved. The time frame is approved. Now I need to memorize. And that's what these papers are. These papers are just my notes, trying to keep myself on track, trying to highlight the areas that I wasn't doing very well at. Look at this. I mean, this is pretty intense. And then it was go time. After my 20-minute presentation, my husband was right there, and he's the first person I saw. All I said was, "Oh my gosh, that was so much fun." That was so much fun. But I've been really digesting it lately. What about it was fun? Well, here's what was fun. It was fun writing my script and creating the content that they were hoping for. I needed to talk about a program I'm a part of. It's called the Mentorship Program within the Maxwell Leadership Company. And I was talking about why I ever joined that program and the value I've gotten through the years. I believe in this program 100%. So I love sharing my story. I love sharing these unexpected blessings that I got, that I'm still getting out of the program. So I really did enjoy writing my entire script and creating it in a way that it had some power statements in it for others who are listening. I also really had fun the night before the conference began. We had a practice session. So me and the 4 others, we were in the room with the tech people. We were trying microphones. We were on the stage so that we didn't have the jitters the day of our event. That was so much fun. That was so much fun, just being in the room with the other 4 and connecting with them and seeing how this is done. That's just intriguing to me. So then the day of the event, there was hair and there was makeup, and I was backstage, and the tech guys were miking me, and I had a mic around my ear, and then they had this magic tape in certain places so that nothing moved. And then I was with the PowerPoint girl because there was a confidence screen. That's what they called my cheat screen. There was a confidence screen that I could have my bullet points, which was wonderful. But she was looking at it, and we found that we had the wrong notes up there, so we were quickly changing it. And suddenly the tech guy comes back at me, and he's messing with things. He's like, come here, we've got a problem. So they have so many technicians set up through the back of the room, the the front of the room, behind the stage. They have so many technicians who are constantly listening to things to make sure it sounds right. I wasn't even going through the loudspeaker, but he could tell we've got bad connections. I don't know if the batteries went dead. I don't know what was going on, but really quickly, he's calling over my husband because, cords were draped down through my shirt. And I mean, he was so respectful. He had my husband doing all of that. And we quickly transitioned me out. That's just really fun, right? And then you see backstage, and it's like NASA station. There's so many computer monitors, so many people monitoring things. I love that. I love seeing how things work. I get geeky about that. Okay. Then there was, right before I went on stage, the what are they called? The MCs, I think they're called. They were back there getting my name right and talking, and then the other technician was taking me to the right set of stairs that I needed to walk on. Oh my gosh, the stomach flips. My stomach was just getting excited, and then I felt like I was going to throw up, and then I wanted to just like, let's do it, let's go. Those stomach flips were intense. And then it was go time. And those stomach flips that I was having before go time were non-existent once I walked on stage. It was so amazing to me, and I tried to take it in, but I couldn't totally. I remember thinking to myself, just look around, take this in a minute, but remember your next line, and remember the words that you're saying right now. So I couldn't just stand there and go, wow. I was talking the whole time, multiple things going on in your brain. And then I really had to focus. I really had to zone in and focus in. It's not only what words are coming out of my mouth, but what's the next sentence that I'm going to be saying. Because my confidence monitor didn't have all the words up there. They just had things to help me keep going, on to the next. The experience being on stage was nothing like what I was experiencing before going on stage. I didn't expect that. I thought I'd have this stomach flipping constantly. No, it settled down. I was doing my thing. I knew how to do my thing. And I was running with it. Now, I did hear my stomach audibly growl because I was so hungry. That's okay. I still had strength. I got through it. So then I got done, and the feeling of accomplishing that stepping stone toward a bucket list. Wow, it was awesome. So then we go on to lunch, and we go on to different events, and the very last session of the day was my friend John Maxwell sharing about how to realize a return on investment with failure. Wow, failure. What a way to end a conference, right? His question, one of his first questions was, how have you failed today? Well, I messed up in my presentation a few times. Oh, I know I messed up. My husband says he had no idea that I messed up. That's my goal, right? But I know I butchered a few paragraphs. Like I totally forgot the key point of the paragraph, and I just kept moving forward. That's what I was writing down. This is how I failed. And then John Maxwell says, what process are you going to put in place to realize a return on that failure? Wow, failure is not bad. Failure is not bad. If we're not failing, that means we're not trying anything. One failure that I had last week was my feet were killing me. I did not wear my dress shoes enough before leaving for the conference. But my process is always carry Band-Aids. And thankfully I had some. So that is just ingrained in me. Always put Band-Aids in my toiletry bag before I ever go anywhere. That's my process. So okay, my failure in the presentation is, I messed up. And I've seen the presentation since I've left the conference. I got my little red pen out, and I have little red marks all over because I was watching the presentation while I was reading. And there's 4 places that I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot that too. Or, oh man, I messed that one up. So I know where my failures are, but what's my return on investment? Well, here's what I've got. When you do mess up, when you are presenting, ditch the script and keep going with the flow. And that's exactly what I was thinking in the moment. I remember one particular moment where I'm like, wow, I have no idea what my script is, but here's the idea of the paragraph that I'm in, and here's the idea of how I need to transition to my next paragraph. And that's what my husband said. There was no silence where I froze and freaked out, right? There were no filler words. There was just continuing with the flow or the objective of that paragraph. And when I think about that, I'll be totally honest. When I'm training in a classroom, by the way, I really like training for 4 hours better than presenting for 20 minutes because there's little chunks. And then I've got maybe a PowerPoint slide to guide me to the next chunk, and it's content that I know. But I lose track of my thoughts during those sessions too. And there's times where I'll think to myself, where the heck am I going right now? What am I even talking about? But I do, and I can quickly turn it around. And that habit, wow, that habit even happened on stage. I like it. I like my process. So whether you're inching forward toward a bucket list item, or whether you are taking a look at your failures, it's not bad. It's all good. It means you are doing something. Keep doing something, but create a process. That when failure hits, create a process to increase your return on investment for that failure. So that next time it's not as much of a failure. It's just a transition toward your next success. Thank you. Thank you for always joining me on my journeys. Thank you for being excited with me. Stay tuned because I have a lot more learning lessons that I'll be having in upcoming videos and podcast episodes. I'll see you then.